Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope you guys are doing well. So we're going to do some updates on the situation out there, as this is obviously a thing that is on everybody's mind pretty much. What's going on and what can we expect next?
Oh my gosh, this is kind of big, you guys. This is something that we all need to kind of pay attention to and then take precautions. So, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. So, yeah, there's so much going on. And yeah, I want to share a couple of sites with you guys too. Especially, I really just like this guy. He just feels so honest and nice and good. This is, again, Dr. Paul Cotrell. We had talked about him before. It's just, he's kind of refreshing in that you really feel here's somebody with absolutely no agenda and a big heart that just wants to get to the bottom of things and help as many people as possible.
Yeah, I really like this guy's energy. I've seen a lot of people saying a lot of things about this virus on TV, but he feels the most genuine and the most honest and sincere, this soul right here.
And I know BP was talking about him earlier today as well. So, let's try to get as many people to subscribe to him and, as we can. There's a lot going on here, and if you guys watched Adapt 2030's video, he was talking about, David was talking about how, this is another way of dropping the hammer on us in so many ways. And we don't know how long we're going to be able to really communicate with each other in an open manner. And it feels like that time might be coming to an end. At first, I thought it was weird because yesterday, briefly, when I uploaded, it didn't go yellow, which everything goes yellow, which means that, not suitable for advertising. The way of, slapping you on the wrist. And so I was like, uh-oh, maybe this is bad. It went straight green, it's staying green. That never happens. What's going on here? That was, it was a good thing, I thought, but it made me apprehensive because it made me think, whoa, what's up with this? But now what's actually happened has been the reverse, because now it's like everything is getting confirmed not suitable. Instead of waiting 24, 48, 72 hours before they actually look at a video. Now they're coming back and, it's like, oh, bad news. Sorry. 4 of your videos confirmed, not suitable. So, and you could tell it's not just the algorithm. It's somebody said, shh, slow down the spread of information is what happened. So, that's where we're at now. They're definitely trying to slow the spread of information, and they're talking about misinformation. And as David at Adapt was saying, the only information that's going to get out there is going to be through official channels, because that's all they want to get out there. And so we're only going to know what they want us to know pretty soon, probably.
Yeah, and Nicole, thank you, Nicole. Everyone, give a like if you don't mind, to help us keep the channel up and going. And your guys' support in any way is just really wonderful. We're going to give you as much information as we've gathered from different sources, so you guys can decide to do what you need to do for your own personal family and your own personal health and well-being.
Yeah, definitely. So, I wanted to share that with you again. I think he just seems genuine to me. So, and a lot of other people as well have been finding him very genuine. So, go ahead, subscribe, and, have this be another one of those sources, that you could utilize while we have it available to us. Meanwhile, people make comments saying this looks like something out of Resident Evil. Armed soldiers patrolling the Chinese streets, making sure people are staying in their houses and, not trying to break loose. And there's been all sorts of reports, about exactly that. And it's one of those things where you have to stay in or, face terminal force, basically. That's pretty damn scary. And, right now it's over there. It's in the largest country in the world. And it can be spreading to other countries as the virus spreads as well.
Yeah, I noticed the police officers they're also wearing protective gear to, not get this virus, and they're outdoors and they appear to be alone, and they're still covering up.
Yeah, exactly. And so, if you guys checked out Christian's Ice Age Farmers last video too, now, he was again talking about how this can be a way of shutting down a lot of lines of information, most definitely. That is for sure. And, what can we do about that part? Well, I mean, communicate amongst ourselves as we can now. And, hope it doesn't become just a complete lockdown on information. I don't think it's a hoax. So are you aware, says coronavirus hoax? I don't believe it's a hoax. And as the numbers go down to 46 after,
Wow.
I don't know if you guys can see this.
No, we're showing like 260 something.
Yeah. Well, if you look at my screen, you'll see it says 46.
Wow.
So,
Now zero.
Now zero, yeah. So obviously they're zero watching, even though you guys are all commenting.
Yeah.
Eventually what's going to happen is it's going to be just, you're going to see like these things go down. I mean, you're going to see the live stream shut down, and you're going to see channels just disappear. So it feels like we're getting kind of closer and closer to that, and perhaps that'll happen once, in a couple weeks when it's more cases of it over here.
Wow, so this tells me that we're seriously onto something. I mean, this is really bad. I've never seen it at zero watching for this long. I've seen them bring it up and down, but never put it at zero watching.
Yeah, and it's staying there. So, this is a message that they are given to us about things to not talk about. So, this is obvious, as you guys could see, zero watching here. And so what are you showing in your screen?
Oh, mine, I'm getting
262.
262.
Yeah, and we've been generally running around 600, although I have heard from a bunch of people today that they're not getting any notifications, which, it's not surprising to me. It really is not surprising at all. So, it's just, this is the times that we are in. And so again, I guess they don't want people knowing about Dr. Cotrell as well. So he looked at, the thing we were talking about yesterday, which is something we're not supposed to talk about. And he does see some interesting things in there, though he said that if you look at the whole genome, it's not exact by any means. Now, here we see, this is the Hal Turner radio show, is showing, obvious, they're coming across that's most definitely a manufactured thing, which I think everybody's kind of in agreement on that. I've been saying that. I still think everybody's in an agreement, and we just don't know what it's going to look like when it gets, to the rest of the world. We still don't know. But there's so much going on right now. And so here you see U.S. and Canada. This is some highlights of what's going on. And you see confirmed Vancouver, BC, a man in his 40s, traveled regularly to China, is diagnosed, and he is voluntarily isolated himself. And then the man the patient in Everett, Washington, it was a man. They were showing a woman on one of the things, but it's a man. He was diagnosed. Now, he's supposedly cured, quote unquote. Santa Clara, male, diagnosed. Over here, Bay Area and LAX, there's cases there as suspected as well. Orange County, LA County, two are confirmed. Maricopa, Arizona, confirmed. Suspected Lakewood, Colorado. Suspected Texas A&M. Suspected Tennessee Tech. Suspected Raleigh. Suspected East Falls, PA. Suspected New York, 4 people have been tested. And some sources are saying there was one confirmed, but others are coming out explicitly saying no, not the case. Confirmed in Boston as well. Suspected 3 in Michigan that traveled to Wuhan. And confirmed in Toronto as well. And this is the WHO's update. And they're showing 11,953 confirmed, 2,128 new. And then we jump over here, and this is by Johns Hopkins. 12,037 confirmed, 259 deaths, 284 recovered. You really got to question this number because, there's so much stuff coming out of China with still, bodies just immediately being taken and, cremated right away, without the families being even able to say goodbye or anything.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff, we're just going by information that what we would do if we had a flu bug in the house. We're just talking about things that we know. We really don't know a lot about this particular virus except for, what these other people are saying on the other channels. So you guys, we really have to kick the intuition up to high gear and do what we simply know to be best. There's no solid answers. There's no black and white here. We have to do what we know to do, and to the best of our ability too. So yeah, there's something serious going on here. And I know I heard that they might even be like shutting down the mail system in China.
Yeah, that is a rumor. I could not find anything on it, although it seems that more than one person was talking about this being reality. So, yeah, and you would have to expect it at some point. So think about that, guys. Obviously right now, a lot of people are ordering stuff. Right now, a lot of people in the U.S. are still just going to the store and shopping and stocking up. And then there's a lot of people that still don't understand what we're facing here at all. Not that any of us really understand exactly what we are facing. Right. We really don't know. Are we looking at something that can potentially be as bad as Spanish flu? Are we looking at something that is going to be equivalent to the Black Plague at its worst? We don't know. Or just something that's going to end up being, not even close to those. We really don't know. And unfortunately, it's sad when we don't trust the official sources. But, again, the official sources, they seem to move very slow on this. Top WHO official says it's not too late to stop the new coronavirus outbreak. So, they're saying, it's not too late, to stop it before going pandemic. But then you have other top officials that say, yeah, there's no way that this is being stopped. And here you see.
Hi, Zeke 4 from Canada. Look up difference, quarantine versus martial law. Huge difference in what they can do legally, U.S. and Canada. Thank you for that information.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your support as well. Mm-hmm. So here you see, this is Dr. Eric Feigl-Ding again. And, these reports are constantly coming out. This is MedRx IV, and it has not been peer reviewed yet. So it's not official, quote unquote. But right now, it's showing right here, it's 4.08 as far as the RO, which is very, very high. That's more than double the Spanish flu. And so that substantially exceeds what the WHO is saying. The WHO is saying 1.4 to 2.5, right? And, here you're seeing 4.08. Who's telling the truth? That's a huge, you can't get bigger than that, really. Well, you can, but it's such a variance. How many of you guys really trust the WHO when you get down to it?
Right. We can't even trust our own school system as far as that's concerned. Everything we have learned in school, scientific wise, everything has just completely changed. It's all changed. So what the WHO is giving us is anybody's guess. They're more scientific laden than we are. They really don't know what they're dealing with either.
Rebel Yale News says he thinks it's going to be the worst thing to happen to humans in history. I guess only time will tell. And it is interesting. So Dr. Cotrell gets into how it's attacking the immune system, which again, it seems to back up that report that we had yesterday, which, has officially been denied. And, that appears to be a taboo subject. So thank you, Jamie. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. Great content. This corona stuff is worrying, though. It is. I agree completely.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Nuclear quantum lasers, most definitely. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't go that route. As far as the V word, some are talking about the Super Bowl. Would you go to the Super Bowl now? I mean, would you guys go to the Super Bowl if you had tickets? I would. No. I personally would not go to the Super Bowl, even if I had spent $200 on tickets, or I know it's probably 2,000. Right. That shows you how much I go out into anything.
We only went to the movies once.
Did we do the movies? We did do. Yeah, we did Star Wars. That's right. That's all we've done so far this year. Is one trip to the movies. Vastly prefer to do things in the privacy of our own home.
Yes.
So now they're up to we're up to 458. Oh, so nice. Now, we'll see when we touch on something touchy, they'll drop it to say shut up to us. Basically, that's kind of like what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. I mean, but at least we know we're having really good, solid information that shows us when we're onto something.
Or they'll turn on my phone and and all of a sudden, what's the name of that one that Google has? I forget. It's not Siri. Siri's the other one.
Siri's mine.
Yeah, whatever. Hey Google will come on and say something. Yeah, like Raven says, weakened immune systems will have less resiliency. And how many people really have that situation? A ton. Because that's the world that we live in as well. So, it's a wild situation that we're seeing. So the RO now is all the way up to 4.08 again, which again blows away the Spanish flu. More than double the Spanish flus. That was 1.8. So that's huge. China reports outbreak, as if that's all we had to worry about. Outbreak of deadly bird flu among chickens in Hunan province, which is close to the coronavirus epicenter of Wuhan. Another coincidence. Do you guys think like me? Immediately I think, what happens if it kind of somehow mutates in with the other one? Is that a possibility? Because this is even worse. As it says, bird flu is much deadlier than SARS or the coronavirus that they're saying. But as of yet, no human cases have been reported in this outbreak, thankfully. But how do you know?
I know. How do they know?
They're not testing anybody.
Right. They're not. And that's done on purpose too, and so they're going to be pointing us toward all this official information. And then what do we do with that? We just simply can't believe it.
And yeah, guess what? My phone just turned on right now, and it just did a search on the word situation. It's weird how the phone will just automatically turn on sometimes, and they listening to all of us.
They are. I know someone in chat said that I turned their phone on when I said Google.
Oh, no kidding.
I did.
So, yeah, now we got the bird flu out there. It's crazy what we're seeing here. All right, there's so much. Where did I end up? Over here. Okay, so we were over here. So now the bird flu outbreak. This is crazy stuff. The outbreak occurred on a farm on Shuanjing district of Shaoyang City. The farm has 7,850 chickens. 4,500 chickens have died. Wow, so better than 50% of the chickens died. Local authorities have culled 17,828 poultry after the outbreak. No human cases found. Well, one thing that's for sure, it's what David has been saying all along from Adapt. It's food, and there's going to be a lot of food. That's part of the issue that we see going on, and I think I've seen increases in prices already just from like a day ago. And, there's going to be shortages, guys. Most definitely there's going to be a lot of shortages really all over as trade is shutting down completely in China. Completely. China's like, they're off grid now. They're basically off grid when you get down to it.
Yeah, so this is just a time where I would stock up wherever you can to the best of your ability and just sort of hang on and watch this unfold, because the fact is it's getting worse, not better. So it's still showing that we need to prepare, and I don't see it petering out.
And I don't really have a clue as to what the actual numbers are. All I know is it's way more than what they're saying. But then how will we know when they don't have tests and they're not testing? They're just dealing with what they can deal with. And, prayers to and gratitude really to all the healthcare workers over there that are doing all they know to do. So many of them are breaking down. I mean, they're having emotional mental breakdowns because they can't handle what they're seeing. A lot of people that get into the healthcare industry do it, out of humanitarian reasons, even though, I might not agree with some of the pharmacology and things like that. I know people get into the field a lot of times because they really want to help people. It's just that simple. And, they are getting overloaded and overworked. And so many of them, we saw, the first Chinese doctor yesterday that succumbed to the disease. Here you see out of Zero Hedge, who was banned from Twitter. I think there still are as well, because they were talking about something they shouldn't talk about. So this is what's happening. 8th coronavirus case confirmed in U.S. as Apple shutters stores across China. And, all the businesses are really shuttering stores. When this is what it looks like in Chinese streets right now, and anybody that, is seen running from a building, you might just get one yell to stop, and then the next thing you know, you're hearing pop, pop, pop. It's obviously not a good situation. And, there's more stuff that's really disconcerting. And I don't know if this is true. And this is out of the Daily Mail. And I think the Express was talking about the exact same thing. China orders citizens to get rid of their pets or risk having them culled amid fears that animals could catch the coronavirus. One village in Hebei urged households to deal with their pets within 5 days. Another committee in Shaanxi demanded locals dispose of their pets immediately. Documents supplied by a source show similar orders around the country. China's top expert suggested that pets might also be infected with the new virus. WHO claims it has not seen evidence that cats and dogs can get the disease. And, that to me, like I said to Cindy immediately, I said, that's over my dead body.
Right. For real. Now they're really getting personal and kind of concerning. Because if they can do that over there, under certain orders, and we've already passed a whole bunch of laws and provisions, and they can pretty much come in and do what they want with you and your property. So if it can happen over there, it can happen here.
Zinc is a protection drink, yes. Zinc is good. Zinc is definitely good. There's so many different things that can help you. We talked about boswellia. Oh, let me just check and see. Rosemary was going to come on and do a show with us. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to today. Tomorrow. She's going to come on tomorrow. And we're going to talk about all the natural stuff that we can do, to help ourselves. And I keep ordering more and more each day. I'm not even worrying about what I'm spending. I just, there's just other things that you just won't pay. Yeah. I mean, if you're in a life or death situation, then it's good to, have things in the house and to be able to support, your family. There's 3 5-year-olds running around like crazy right now in the other room. And so obviously want to keep them protected.
Yeah, I mean, do the best you can with what you've got. And just, I think a lot of the best advice is like really wash your hands up to your elbows, to get under your fingernails. A lot of hygiene, a lot of hygiene. Like when we take a bath, we use a little bit of tea tree oil.
Yeah, which later on today, that's what I'm going to do again.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as I've always felt that it's good to take hot baths or saunas and to sweat on a regular basis. For one, it does stimulate our whole system. And then breathing in the tea tree is very, very beneficial. And like last night, we have a diffuser, so I put tea tree in with eucalyptus and peppermint. I love the smell of those three together anyway, and they are good for your complete respiratory tract. So Nicole says look into making flour out of chestnuts. Yeah, there's so many different things you can do. And I haven't made fresh bread in forever. I mean, I think maybe going back to when I was taking cooking all through school, it's probably been that long since I made fresh bread. I mean, I made banana breads and things like that, but hey, we got a lot of flour. It's time to make some bread. And, what smells better than fresh bread baking? That is such a good smell.
It feels like Christmas.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So, again, the other thing I'm looking at is, I'm investing in all this stuff, but it's all cost effective when you get down to it. Rice and beans, lentils, they're very inexpensive. They could stay for years. And same thing with wheat. And, it's a lot cheaper to make your own bread than it is to go to the store. So even though I'm putting the money out there now, and I know it'll more than pay for itself, as well as giving us that insurance just in case, So Raven's saying, based on their numbers, which seem low, 23 million infected, 252,000 deceased last weekend, their numbers. Yeah, I've seen a lot of different charts that show that this is actually progressing kind of worse than expected. But, there's nothing official out there, and we can't trust anything official as well. Learn to propagate yeast. Yeah, that's something to learn as well.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. There's so much good information. That's why I love having these shows, because we throw information back and forth that's super valuable.
Fears of coronavirus spreading locally as Hong Kong hospital staff back strike to demand closure of border with mainland China. I've watched videos of people heading off to Wuhan and that area of medical staff and husbands and wives kissing, hugging each other like they're never going to see each other again. And doing what they think is, they're warriors in a sense too. That's being a warrior, but a warrior for a peaceful means.
I know, and thank you so much, Miss Susan Donahue. We are so grateful for your help and your appreciation and your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Namaste. So, here you have health officials demanding the closure. I would think it would be a good idea to close all the borders right now. And this is Marco Rubio's confirmed coronavirus cases in Xinjiang highlight the ongoing humanitarian crisis for the Uyghurs. Now, there's over 1 million Uyghurs, detained in these camps, which are like, I don't want to say the C word, but, they're re-education camps, for people that have different beliefs, and that's just horrible. Think about this, think about how that could spread through a camp, and you could have 1 million people that it will be gone in a blink of an eye. And this is really horrible situation to contemplate. So again, there's prayers to those people. I'm thankful that we're not in China. Again, because, as we know, it's got a dictator for life. They're able to do whatever they want as far as the government goes, and it's sad. It really is sad. We have a more than big enough government here. In my opinion, it's way too big. And I really, am of the opinion that government often creates way more problems than they solve. Yet it doesn't compare to what they have over in China as far as, the system that's over there. It's very scary, where you have over 1 million people detained in camps because of their beliefs. That's just, in this day and age, these things should not go on. I mean, they should never go on any day or age. People should be free to have whatever beliefs they want. It's just sad.
It is. I couldn't imagine it could happen over here, the re-education camps, that says a lot right there. That's basically teaching you what to say, how to say it, and so that you don't cause trouble for the system. And, right now with things as bad as they're being censored, they have their own ways of punishing us, with the things that they say that there's 0 watching when there's like 500 people watching. They hit a little bit where the money belt is, and that's what we have for right now. But that's nothing compared to what these people are going through. I mean, I just can't imagine. It's horrible. It's so sad. And, as far as preventing the spread of this virus, all I know to do is do what I would do if someone had the flu around here, because that's the only information that we have. And we have a lot of scientific papers and stuff, which is really, really wonderful, but we don't have the truth. That's the thing. We don't have the truth, and we're only being told what they want us to know.
Most definitely. So yeah, somebody says sauna. Saunas are good. Yeah, very good idea. Sweating things out is most definitely a good idea. And here we see that UMass Boston student that tested positive for Wuhan coronavirus.
We have one test.
So yeah, officials confirm it. It's a man in his 20s. Now the interesting thing again is, and you gotta wonder, is it engineered in a certain way? It's taking out mostly males in their 50s. It's taking out the older population, old farts like me. That's what it's geared towards. So that makes it even more suspicious as well, as you see this mass exodus from the Chinese cities. And, I was born in suburbia, but became a country boy at heart. And nothing better than being surrounded by trees and woods and being away from big population centers. I love small towns. I love that feel as well. And even though we don't have any trees around here, the rocks are my trees. Sunshine. Yeah, sunshine's good. So over here we see warning, coronavirus may resurface in healed patients. We've heard this multiple times. It can spread from unaffected persons. There can be typhoid Marys. There can be a lot of typhoid Marys out there. And, the fact that even somebody that is quote unquote healed, as we had looked before, right? Where was that one? Not that one, this one. So 284 people recovered, and if they are released back out into the population, they're saying they could infect people, And so, and Dr. Cotrell was talking about, he's trying to be politically correct, but he's giving you the facts, and it is most definitely a suspicious looking virus, to say the least. And, there was reports that China was going to admit it escaped, but that hasn't happened yet. We'll see if there's an admission at some point in time. Oops. That's a big oops.
What?
If they admitted that it escaped from...
Oh my gosh, I know. If they did admit that it escapes, that right there, just the admission would be an accident if that got out. That for sure. But yeah, the way they talk about it, the way there's certain things cut and pasted in there, you could only do with like a computer or so with certain scientific equipment. It's sort of kind of like Mickey Mouse together and then thrown out there to see what'll happen. And it just looks awful what's happened. And I almost, I don't know, there's a lot of things I have in my head that I don't want to, I'm just not going to say it right now. But these people, my heart breaks for them. And They don't know what they're up against. We don't even know what we're up against. All we can do is, do what we know to do that we've done in the past, and then hope that it works and take good care of ourselves and boost our immune system. Oh my gosh, I couldn't be more grateful that I have time right now to boost my immune system. I mean, I'm so grateful for that, and that we can spread information to you guys to have you guys boost your immune systems, the best you can, and talk to your friends and your family and whatnot, because this information is just pouring out. It's oozing out out of every orifice possible. And they're going to try to slow it down. I know they're already working on the channel to try to slow this information from getting out, but we'll just keep pushing.
We will, most definitely. And New York City reports its first person under investigation. Again, there's some saying, like on, I think it was Hal Turner radio show, they were saying it's confirmed, but we haven't heard anybody officially say it's confirmed. And there's Dr. Tedros, WHO chief there, why coronavirus seems to be striking more adults than kids, which it definitely does. It's very curious. Gets me thinking about, what David at Adapt has talked about for a long time with, there's not enough food to go around. So if there isn't enough food to go around, oh gosh, that was the other thing I was going to research. I just remembered. Somebody else, and I saw it in a couple of times, I got emails from people saying Logan's Run is real. Do you guys remember Logan's Run?
I've heard of it, but I don't remember it.
Okay. Well, Logan's Run was this movie with Michael York, I believe, in it. And let me punch this up.
All right.
It was futuristic sci-fi, and it was all about kind of keeping the population under control. And the way it was done was, I think nobody lived past 30 or something. Two novel premises. Everyone must die at a set age. And so Logan and his companion Jessica attempt to escape while being chased by what they call Sandman. And so, anybody, when you're 30 years old, you go to this ceremony and basically they kill you. And so that's Welcome to the 23rd Century. This is an old movie. It was Michael York. And this was 1976. Okay, I was thinking it was even earlier than that. But yeah, and so somebody else I got a few emails from you guys, people out there saying Logan's Run is real. And so, interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting. And now it's like, it's going to be so hindsight 2020 type of thing right now. And, thinking back on our movies and putting little things together. And I know our friend Bruno, actually Bruco, he puts out some really good videos as far as predictive programming goes, with The Simpsons and stuff. So if you go over and sub to his channel, because he puts out these videos and they're very, very interesting how he does it. And he's just the most sweetest, gentlest soul.
Okay, Rosemary wants me to jump over to Deagel. I wonder if anything has changed here. So we've talked about this a million times. Now this is, the U.S. anyway, it's staying the same. So year 2017, 327 million. I think we're at 330 or a little bit over 330 million right now, which breaks down to 34 people per square kilometer. The forecast for 2025 is 100 million people in the United States, or basically 10 inhabitants per square kilometer. So, yeah, Deagel I've talked about dozens of times, and we've all wondered, what is this all about? And they say it's about economics, because they say it's going to be an economic collapse, and that's why people are going to leave the United States. Now, if you look at China, it stayed the same population-wise, and it still does. 1.4 billion in 2017, 1.4 billion in 2025. However, their military budget goes up quite a bit, from 226 billion to 310 billion. The U.S.'s drops dramatically. Yeah, we know the U.S. has the biggest military budget by a mile. In 2017, it was 637. It's over 100 billion more than that now. But it goes down to 32 billion. 1/20th of what it was in 2017. So that's curious. And then the thing is, too, Russia does not lose people. They stay the same, 142, 142. But all the NATO countries lose people dramatically. Like the UK, for instance, goes from 66 million people to 15 million people. So that's 3/4 of the population gone there. France, about the same, I think, 67 million, to 39 million, so almost half. And again, the military budget decreases. So to me, this looked like this was WW3, is what they were talking about with a preemptive strike by Russia and China, because all the NATO countries go down to, a fifth to a tenth of their military budgets. They lose between half of their people to, 2/3, 3/4 of their people. But yet we also see something like in Brazil, for instance, goes from 207 to 210 million people. There's more people that seem to flood into Central and South America. Central and South America gain population. Africa's a mixed bag. India, I believe, stayed the same. 1.3 billion, 1.3, yeah. They stayed the same. Their military budget doubles. So, my take on it, after really dissecting it, was the only way this would come by is if there was a military strike on NATO, on the U.S. and its allies. Because like Japan, too, they go from 126 million to 103 million. They lose about 20% of the people. And then if you look at the military budget, it drops as well. It goes from 45 billion to 18 billion. So, they drop substantially as far as their military budget. And again, it's all the NATO countries. So, it didn't seem to me like this is earth change related, and it doesn't look to me like this is virus related either, unless we're going to find out that it is affecting people more over here than it is in China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not sure exactly what's going to happen. But this Deagel, where does Deagel come from, though? Like, what's its roots? Why? Who made it? Any idea?
As far as I've gotten, it's probably a front for like CIA, FBI. It appears to be some sort of front. We don't really know. Actually, I remember seeing the house that it could be tracked to in California, and it was in a very, very, relatively affluent-looking suburban, I'd say upper middle class area. Not ultra rich, but upper middle class zone. So who is it really? We don't know. But what do they track? They track everything military, everything. If you go to, their main page, Spanish Air Force selects Pilatus PC-21 as replacement for C-101. It's all about the military. It's all about military orders. So, it looks like something that's involved with the military-industrial complex. U.S. Air Force set to buy first 2 F-15EX fighter jets. It's all about military hardware and equipment. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I guess so. They need to have that military stuff going. It's all about the money, follow the money. All roads lead to Rome. All that good stuff, And meanwhile, we are looking at this virus that we don't know too much about.
And they have a YouTube channel now as well, which I never noticed before. Or if I did, it's only got 945 subscribers, and so this is really, to me, this is like so freaking suspicious, this thing. This is one of the most suspicious websites I've ever seen. And the whole purpose behind it and everything, it could not be any more suspicious. And when you look at the numbers, you wonder what's going on. But then we also, we talked about this before a million times, and it ties in. And I still feel that this was when everything kind of went crazy. The solar eclipse of August 21st, 2017, and then the other one that's coming in 2024, right? X marks the spot between the two, as we see, and X marks the spot right on the New Madrid, so I took this to be a sign that, that we're, the U.S. by 2024 is going to go through its own little tribulation.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but when the first crossing went, I think something changed with my vibration, because my whole body totally got cold, and then when it was reacclimating, my vibration changed and everything felt super tingly, and it was almost uncomfortable. So it's like there was a frequency changed with that first one. So this next one, I'm super curious. If we can, I'd almost like to be where I can see it, because here over in Nevada, we couldn't see it, but oh my gosh, did I ever feel it? It was so strange. It was like something permeated my whole body, and I just didn't understand that. And then that's when it seemed like the volcanoes started going off.
Right. So the next one comes through on April 8th, 2024. And then, of course, we have, these figures out of Deagel that shows instead of 330 million Americans, there's only going to be 100 million Americans in 2025. And, what's up with that? And there's going to be a lot of talk about agendas with numbers following as well. Isn't it curious too? Because the way I look at this too, what's over here, right? Well, that's Charleston, South Carolina, and there's a major fault zone over there. What's over here? Well, this is Cascadia, and that's another major fault zone that we're waiting to happen. And this area right over here, Mexico, especially over through here, this is just north of Mexico City. There's a lot of major quakes that can happen in this area as well. And then this runs along the St. Lawrence, which we know is an active zone as well, and has been very, very active. And there's been reports of uplifting from people that live in that area. So to me, this is talking about, I feel like it's quake related. I do think that, and then of course right here, right where the lines go, that's the New Madrid. So I feel it's related to that, but more than that as well. And is it a coincidence? What do you guys think?
I think something big is going to happen when it does cross. If the first one was a vibrational change to either put us back on course, then the second one is going to just drive it home. And between now and then, I think we're going to see a whole lot of changes. And I'm hoping not too much sorrow. I'm hoping it's not a lot of bad stuff. But I do feel like we're going to see a lot of changes, because I think that was a frequency change, you guys.
Yeah. There are a lot of frequency changes going on right now. And everything. This is just, like we said, this is an amazing time to be alive in. And over here, okay, so we see this is Jonathan Rath Hoffman, Assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs. So he's saying the following installations have been selected to assist the HHS evacuation operations if needed. The 168th Regiment Regional Training Institute, Fort Carson, Colorado, Travis Air Force Base in California, Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, and Marine Corps Air Station in Miramar, California. So this is going to be places that are going to have housing support for over 1,000 people who may need to be quarantined after arrival from overseas. Okay, because a lot of people are running with this info right now. I'm seeing on some of the chat sites, and they're saying, okay, this is the first FEMA camps, things like that, here in the United States for people. Well, these are what they're saying is these are where they're going to house people coming in that are being evacuated from other countries, not necessarily looking at it like that. Helen Branswell's been doing a great job with keeping up with stuff. And again, if you guys don't know who she is, she's senior writer, infectious diseases for Stat News. And there's been more transmissions in Japan, taxi driver in Thailand who hadn't traveled to China again. So we're seeing another generation. And actually in Germany, 3rd generation case. Oh, that's the first one I heard of that. So yeah, Germany, because of one company, it had a whole bunch of people in that company get sick. And I think there was 8 confirmed people from this one company in Germany. And here we see a reason cited in yesterday's U.S. entry suspension declaration regarding the coronavirus. The CDC, along with state and local health departments, has limited resources, and public health system could be overwhelmed if sustained human-to-human transmission of the virus occurred in the U.S. You know, I don't think any U.S. citizens, or hardly any U.S. citizens, are going to have a problem with restricting flights from China. I think we all think that's a good idea at this point. I think there's a lot of people that would even go further. And, globally, I'm kind of surprised that I shouldn't say surprised, but, the thought that they haven't, the WHO, shut things down much more than they have is somewhat disconcerting, because I would think they would.
Yeah.
They move so slow in the first place.
Right, that's the thing. I mean, they move slower than molasses in the wintertime to get this information out there, and this thing spreads really fast. So, like all of the people that have already been flying back and forth, I mean, it's here. We might as well prepare as best we can for it and not count on these guys to save us.
And then, it is actually a very tough flu season as well. So there's a regular flu season going on. So there's just so much. And this is really horrible and disconcerting. This is in front of the new China hospital in Wuhan. Victim being hauled away directly for cremation. Family members denied a chance to pay their last tribute. You could hear them crying. So, how many of these have there been? A lot, so do we actually believe these figures? 259 deaths? Oh, hell no. It's not even close. So, especially when you have so many of these things happening, and there's tons of videos of it. Mm-hmm. Coronavirus victims in the wards, watching those next to them die and get carried out. Think about the fear they must be feeling, thinking they might be next, as they just witnessed. And for those of you that can sense spirits, that just recently leave their bodies, like Cindy, there's a lot of people walking the halls of these hospitals. There's a lot of spirits walking the halls of the hospitals right now, kind of confused and wondering what's going on.
Yeah, they do. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's like they get confused and they just stand around and they're trying to figure out, wow, what just happened to my body? Why isn't everything working? I mean, and it creates an atmosphere of sorrow. It really does. When you get that much energy going in one spot, I could never imagine being there ever, never in a million years.
I see our friend Bruno's in the chat. So yeah, there's so much. And somebody else brought up the bird flu. As we said, yeah, there was an outbreak and they culled a big population of birds. And, you have, just to recap, you have China, some provinces, telling people to get rid of their pets before they do it for them. It's a horrible situation that we see ongoing right now. And yeah, definitely as we see in the chat room, fear not. Yeah. Walk in the spirit. I believe strongly, and it's even more than a belief. It's like a knowing. I know we don't just boom, die and everything's black and there's nothing. That's not the case. Not the case at all. As I've shared with you guys, when my brother died when I was 5, I remember staring at the wall and all of a sudden having this realization and maybe it was him being there too, kind of telling me or let me know, but I just knew I'm in the body, but I'm not the body. Yeah, and it was just so clear. And so ever since I was 5, I've known, we don't disappear. Yeah, we go on. Consciousness goes on. So, the body is our vehicle. As we see Singapore restricting all Chinese nationals from entering due to coronavirus outbreak. And here you see a robot delivering meals. Now, there's a good use of technology. Quarantine people in Hangzhou, China, are receiving food via this robot. So there you go. And a lot of places are closing, obviously. That's just a given. So is this the thing that's going to bring on the massive financial collapse? I would say it's a pretty good bet right now. It is a pretty good bet. China is a huge country economically, only second to the U.S., and some would say that they passed the U.S. in some ways. And right now they're in shambles completely. Their economy is in shambles, and will their leadership, will their system make it through? We will see, because we don't even know if that's a given now. As you see, the 8th confirmed coronavirus case in Bavaria confirmed, as Germany, as far as I know, has the most cases in Europe right now.
Yeah, as we kind of watch this thing unfold, it's like watching a car wreck, like super in super slow motion. I don't know if you guys have ever been in that situation where, you said something major happens and you get to watch it all unfold in slow motion. And that's kind of what we're watching. These numbers are going to keep going up. I don't feel any sense where they're going to fizzle out. I can tell you my hope is that it's going to weaken as it spreads. That's my hope. I have no idea if that's truly going to happen or not. I just don't know. Just watching the news every day, sort of kind of watching things unfold is so surreal. Like 9/11, that was extremely surreal. And there's Sassy. She agrees. She's excited about this whole thing, but not in a good way. This is all very frightening.
Yeah, it is. And so somebody said about they've killed all their meat, and then yet again, there's many people that are saying they wouldn't eat meat, even if they did eat meat right now, because of the transmission potential as well. So it's something else to think about. We both don't, and it, as we gotten deeper and deeper into this, it's kind of like my conviction's gotten stronger and stronger not to. There's that inner knowing not to, because I do feel it lowers your vibrations. And also just the fact that we're all getting more sensitive to everything. So, and economically, as far as feasibility as well, rice, beans, lentils go a long way. We got some lettuce and some kale that's starting to come up already. We're excited.
That's excited. We just planted it last week and it's already sprouting.
Yeah. So, that's exciting. And, again, you got to think in terms of the long haul as well. Well, so many pigs have already gone from the world. I'm not sure what the total world population of pigs has been lost, but I know in China, for instance, it was like half, that were, but look at the massive die-offs everywhere, thank you, Fukushima.
Right.
For one, there's just been so many die-offs. It's just incredible. And a lot of souls are leaving this realm of existence in this time frame. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot changing, and I don't think this is like a super common virus thing that we can just fight with whatever. I think we have to take extra measures, do what we know to do, because they're not going to give us any honest information. The only information they're going to give us is what they want us to know, and then a lot of that they're going to suppress because we're going to throw our own spin on it with our own experiences. And I think a lot of the herbal stuff is the way we need to go, but in order for that to work, we need to cut out the sugar. And look what they've done to our food supply. It's all sugar.
Yeah, be aware of that. And we'll get Rosemary on and talk all about health. And, it's one of the things I understand everybody wants to know the updates, what's happening. But, whenever I put a video out that's just like health related or help related, I'll get a quarter of the views or 20% of the views. And it's time for people to really focus. I mean, we want to know what's going on, but we also have to, most definitely educate ourselves and start putting into practice ways of helping our families and our loved ones as well as ourselves. Yeah, processed foods are nothing that you want, and we're not buying any of that. We are just buying, organic rice and beans, things like that, lentils, cases of tomatoes and things like that. Just basic stuff, and stuff that we use all the time anyway. So, and then we're going to be growing our own greens and lettuce and stuff like that as well, whatever we can do veggie wise. And, I have other stuff bringing in for insurance, like some chopped up garlic. I ordered like a bunch of that as well that will store for long periods of time. But we're going to grow our own and grow our own ginger as well, and all these things are all good for you. Mushrooms, yes, I know, we gotta get our ass in gear with mushrooms too.
Yeah, we do. We really need those are excellent foods for us. But beans, you guys, you soak beans overnight and those things sprout so fast. I mean, they're like super easy to grow. That's good, and then we do know someone, our friend in the UK, he grows all of his food just in his little apartment, and he's really happy and he's pretty healthy and he's really good at it. So, just because you don't have land doesn't mean you can't start growing stuff. You can definitely start growing it inside and eat it.
Yeah, Evolutionary Sanctuary says witches are scary. I've known quite a few witches. Some are scary, some are not. But I tell you what, the Pope is scary.
Yeah, right? Totally.
Well, that's for sure. Amaranth seeds handles drought and bad weather, and red amaranth, and it is yummy. I remember eating a lot of that when I was going through limes, avoiding wheat. Yeah, lots of good stuff to do. So, my friends, we're going to end this one right here. As always, thank you for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. You guys are keeping us going. As obviously everything gets censored, and censorship goes up to another degree right now. So, be prepared. Take it to the next level, because honestly, if you give it 2 weeks' time, 2-3 weeks' time, you might not be able to buy any supplies anywhere. I mean, it really can be at that level. So be aware of that.
Yeah, and God bless and namaste.
God bless, my friends. Namaste.